What's good, y'all? It's your boy Sean Peter Blunt guy. Hey! And we are back with another One Piece reaction. And today we will be reacting to YouTuber Dawn of the World. And she is going to be telling us how Pluton is the connection of everything. Now, I'm not too sure, you know, what she means. But before we get into that, make sure you guys hit that like button. Also, subscribe and leave your comments down below. Let me know, your thoughts on the theory, your thoughts on my reaction, anything, anything. If you like the beard, I don't know. Let me know down below. But yeah, also follow me on Twitch so you could catch me live and you could engage with me in real time. Follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And make sure you join that Discord. Don't forget to join that Discord, y'all. That Discord is my community where you could engage with me. That's where I usually engage the most at. You could hit me up on the other platforms, but I engage the most on the Discord. And you can also send me videos to react to do future reactions through the Discord. But yeah, anyway, so we're going to talk about Pluton, okay? How it's the connection to everything. Now, I don't know how it connects everything, right? We don't even really know what Pluton is just yet, right? We know, or it's implied to be a ship, from what we know back in this lobby and the whole in this lobby Water 7 arc. Or not, we knew back in Water 7. Let me correct myself. We knew back in Water 7, but during that whole Water 7 in this lobby arc where we seen Frankie's flashback of why CP9 was there in Water 7, talking to Tom, trying to get the blueprints, the Pluton. Right? Even before that, even before Water 7, we knew about Pluton in Alabasta. That's what Crocodile was looking for. He was looking for Pluton. And what we learned later in Wano is Pluton was never in Alabasta. It was even Robin knew this. When she read the poneglyphs, it said that Pluton was in Wano. She just never told Crocodile that. So we eventually learned where Pluton is. It's currently in Wano, and we know like that it's the only way to access Pluton is to destroy the borders of Wano. You know. So yeah. But in Water 7, we knew that Frankie had blueprints to, I guess, be able to recreate Pluton. And then he destroyed those blueprints. But I feel as though Frankie knows, like he remembers those blueprints, because Frankie is a genius. He's a genius builder. So I think if he's seen those blueprints, he probably remembered them and probably recreated them. I honestly kind of speculated before, and I'm not saying this is my original speculation because I've heard this from someone else. I can't put a name to that person. I forget because this was such an old theory. But I believe, that Frankie incorporated some of Pluton's features, I guess, into the Sunny and creating the Sunny Go, right? So I think the Sunny could be possibly, potentially, a mini Pluton. I don't know if I would say it's as powerful as Pluton, but I believe it could be like a mini Pluton. Like we know that Sunny has the coupe de burst, and it has that laser in the front that comes from the mouth, right? What other ship in One Piece has that, right? What other ship in One Piece could do that we've seen at least? I don't think we've seen a ship that could do anything like that. So that's very unique for the Sunny, and I think that could be something Frankie incorporated from Pluton, because we know Pluton is said to be able to destroy islands. maybe Pluton has a gun like that in the front of it, a laser gun like that in the front of it. Maybe it's way bigger though, so it's capable of destroying islands. Because I don't know if I don't know if I believe Sunny can destroy islands, but you know that's why I say a miniature version of Sunny, right? But Pluton might have the same little cannon thing. It might just be way bigger, right? So yeah, but yeah, so Pluton connects everything. I don't know what that means, but hey, with the information that we got from the most recent chapter, but I kind of speculated to be Uranus, and then we also know about Poseidon. So those are 2/3 of the ancient weapons. Pluton is there, and it's been probably the weapon that has been talked about the most in this series. And then second would probably come Poseidon. But yeah, anyway, I don't wanna wait any longer. Let's get into this theory video. I'm curious how Pluton connects everything. And also, the link to this video will be in the description box.
Last week's chapter sent me on a watery blast from the past. Remember Water 7? City of shipwrights, masks, secrets and mysteries, and the place where the blueprints for Pluton were not only guarded, but where this legendary ancient weapon itself was created over 800 years ago during the Void Century. My question now is, how did Pluton get from here to where it currently resides? And what are some of the effects that it's had on the world that we've already seen? Hello, humans of the world, I'm Dawn of the World, welcome aboard. For this theory, I'm going to be talking about parts of the manga up until chapter 1055, so if you're not caught up, get your cute little booty out of here, don't let the door hit you on the way out, and watch this video here instead.
Yeah, we're definitely a little late on this, right? You know, I found this video earlier. I was looking for videos to react to, new YouTubers that I haven't reacted to yet, and I found her video, and I was curious, you know, just based on the title, how Pluton connects everything. So I definitely wanted to jump on this one. I definitely wanted to jump on this, especially when we talk about ancient weapons, especially like, again, based on the most recent chapter 1060. You know, I don't know when you guys watch this, but based on the recent chapter 1060, what we got, I definitely thought a ancient weapon topic would be very interesting. But yes, this video is about a month old from the time of me recording this, and like she said, this was 1055, so this was 5 chapters ago. But let's get to it.
By the way, because I'm currently moving, my mattress up here on my loft bed is now gone, so if the lighting and particularly the sound seem different to usual, that's why. And also my cat goes up there and reaches through the gaps and attacks me. Anyway, Pluton. We have recently found out that under Wano there is another Wano. And under this Wano is legendary ancient weapon Pluton. I'm sure that other people have pointed this out, but having a city or country under the water beneath a newer version of that city or that country that has ties with the Pluton is something we've seen before. This is of course in Water 7 where the Pluton was made. I keep repeating that the Pluton was made in Water 7 because this, like Shanks being from West Blue, is an important detail that's often overlooked. So this,
I want to say, like, underwater cities, like when we talk about cities that were built over, like, older cities that I guess were eventually flooded, I want to say that's a real thing. Like, I'm thinking Venice, right? Because I know Venice has a water problem, and it was built to around water, right? Where it's like you travel through the water. You don't really see cars. I guess it's mostly people traveling on boats to get from place A to B. But I want to say that is a real thing. Let me know. Let me know in the chat. Let me know in the comments of any cities for all you geography nerds out there who, you know, y'all know a lot more than me about geography. Let me know some cities that were, you know, pretty like the old cities are underwater and the new cities are kind of built over. I'm pretty sure there are, though. I just can't think of any at the moment. You guys comment down below, though. Let me know.
This ancient weapon that was created in the same city where Oro Jackson and Thousand Sunny were also made, that being Water 7, an island located on the opposite side of the planet to Wano, which, like Wano, features some watery climate phenomena considered extreme even for the Grand Line. What I find interesting, however, is that much like how Wano wasn't always walled and relocated halfway up the summit of Mount Fuji, as we've discovered, Water 7 apparently wasn't always sinking, which is strange because sinking is kind of its thing. And now I find myself wondering why. Why wasn't Water 7 always sinking? Why is the land on which this ancient weapon was built slowly sinking into the depths of the sea? Well, I think that the answer to that lies in its own question, because I'm going to suggest that the reason Aqua Laguna started happening, the reason that Water 7 is sinking, is because the Pluton was created there. Think of it as a biblical punishment of sorts. We all
It's a unique perspective, you know, like a punishment from a divine being, possibly, like punishing Water 7 for creating Pluton. So that's an interesting take on it. I don't know how to respond. That's an interesting take on it. You know, like that would mean there must be gods. Could it be somebody like Eem possibly punishing? Like it's now, you know, like if that is the case, right? If someone's punishing Water 7 for creating the ancient weapon, right? That would mean there's maybe a god, or maybe not necessarily a god, but it could be an actual living being with abilities to do such a thing, to be able to punish whole islands, maybe through a devil fruit potentially, right? And it kind of make me think of the recent chapter, you know, some object destroy a island, you know, the island that Sabo is currently on, and a lot of people speculated to be Uranus, right? But her explanation, you know, if you go through that narrative, maybe it's a punishment, right? Like maybe if Water 7 is being punished for creating Pluton, maybe that was just a way to punish the island of Lelusia, right? Except it just straight up obliterated. Now I personally believe it is Uranus that's doing that, but you know, if let's say Eem is the one that's putting punishments on islands, you know, maybe some punishments are more extreme than other punishments. Maybe whatever that is the one that destroyed Lelusia. Maybe it's not an ancient weapon. Maybe it's just whatever punishment. Maybe it's just like a devil fruit ability that Eem has inflicted on that island as a punishment, right? And maybe Eem inflicted the punishment on Water 7, just a less extreme version, right? Now, again, I believe that is definitely Uranus, but you know, it's neither here nor there.
Already have an elephant who committed a crime so great they were cursed to walk the earth for eternity. So why not an island that built a weapon so cataclysmic that the land it was built upon was cursed to be suckered down into the abysmal depths? Its people forever building up and up again and again atop the cities of their forefathers as they yearn to reach the elusive sun. Though I've also seen a theory that the Aqua Laguna is the awakened abilities of some kind of water fruit user who I guess has some kind of beef with Water 7. Anyway, in the case that the Aqua Laguna is the result of Water 7's plutonic actions, this would also drag Long Ring Long Land into the equation. After all, they displace water from their annual low tide, which allows the island's residents passage through the usually submerged areas, is the water that becomes Aqua Laguna. Interesting pattern of water levels impacting the landscape and where people can live going on here. This gets me thinking that if the natural phenomena occurring in Water 7 and Long Ring Long Land
And again, you know, now I kind of think about it, right? Now I kind of think about it. You know, cause she brought up water fruit, and I kind of talked about how, like, kind of going back to the theory I had with Dragon, possibly like the theory of Uranus being a devil fruit, right? And maybe dragon having that specific devil fruit, Uranus, right? And being able to manipulate the weather. And a lot of people speculated it being the water fruit or the wind fruit or whatever. But I speculated maybe it could be a Uranus devil fruit. Maybe Uranus is a devil fruit. Based on last chapter, I don't think so anymore. But what we've seen of the most recent chapter and how it destroyed Lelusia, I believe maybe that's not its only ability. If let's say that thing was, that object was Uranus, maybe that isn't its only ability. Maybe it can manipulate weather in other ways. It's just that specific way was just to destroy an island. You know, kind of like Enel, right? Enel had an ability similar to that, but Enel can also do other abilities as well. Just more in line with electricity abilities, right? But we know that lightning is kind of part of weather, right? So that ability, even though it didn't really look so much like lightning, it looked more like a beam of light destroying this country. But let's say that was lightning though, like a big, huge lightning strike. You know, multiple big, like kind of like Anel's ability. You know, it being a weather object, a weather machine, that would just only be one thing it can do. You know, that would just be a very concentrated and intense attack. But maybe it can also manipulate rain as well and wind and all those things. So maybe that same thing, according to her theory, maybe that same thing was able to manipulate the overall weather of Water 7 and have it rain and create the Aqua Laguna every year. Let's continue.
And can be tied to the Pluton in some kind of way. Are there other anomalies along the Grand Line to which Pluton could be attributed? Or heck, even any of the other ancient weapons? But this ain't about them. I mean, it's possible that the entire anomaly of the Grand Line could be connected to these ancient weapons in some way. And now for a fun thing that I've learnt about Pluto's namesake specifically. Pluto is an ex-planet as well as the Greek god of the underworld, and Pluton is currently under the world. Furthermore, a Pluton with an N at the end is actually a thing.
Facts. It technically is in the underworld or under the world. That can't beat that logic. Really can't. And that's actually a good point. I actually didn't put two and two together after that chapter where they said where Pluton was, right? So Pluto being Hades, the name of Hades being the god of the underworld, right? And where do we learn that Pluton is? In Wano, and it's under the world. Like, you actually can't argue that logic. It's actually a good point that I've never actually noticed.
Plutons are bulbous masses that commonly develop beneath strings of volcanoes associated with plate subduction. Plate subduction being specifically when an oceanic plate is channeled down into the Earth's mantle beneath a volcanic region.
I mean, if I just quickly googled it, it would go to show how many hints there were that Pluton was hiding under Wano country under Mount Fuji all this time. So this makes Pluton actually a Pluton, exactly as it says on the tin. Volcanoes have reoccurred periodically throughout the series, though of course not every volcano has a Pluton beneath it. However, if we're going deep down into Wano's crust, why the heck did I say it like that? However, if we're
yeah, that was but anyway,
going deep.
Anyway, could Pluton actually be a part of Wano though? I know there were a lot of theories that Pluton was actually a part of Wano. And she's kind of making me think that maybe Pluton is actually not a standalone thing, and it could be actually a part of Wano. And yes, we got the information from Shimotsu, or not Shimotsu. We got it from Kosuke Sukiyaki, right? But he only knows a bit about it. Like he doesn't know all of it. He was kind of told he learned about this from somebody else, because all this happened, like the walls of Wano, that the borders of Wano came around way before his time. So, this is stuff that he was told that, information could have been changed a bit, maybe not intentionally, but you know that one game where you have like a long line of people, and one guy whispers, like one person whispers in another person's ear, like they have a secret or they have something to say, and they whisper, and by the time it gets down the line, the message changes. You know what I'm saying? It kind of shows that secondhand information, sometimes it can be interpreted differently, or and then when it's interpreted differently, it's given to somebody else, and when they pass it on, it gets interpreted differently. So maybe Kosuke Sukiyaki having second-hand information, or third-hand information, or fourth-hand information, however far down the line it went, maybe down the line it was interpreted so vastly different that when he got it, he not saying he's wrong, but maybe he didn't get the full message of it, the original message of it. And because maybe Pluton could be part of Wano. Just saying. I say all that just to say that. Let's continue.
Down into Wano's crust, the possibilities of Pluton's influence on natural phenomena via volcanic activity are virtually limitless. The fact that Pluton is beneath Wano, and that Wano is the country from which the indestructible stones on which the monoglyphs are carved, is likely related. And sea stone originating in Wano country is likely due to this Plutonic influence as well. And what's more, as several people have recently pointed out, the sea cloud and island cloud that make up the Sky Islands contain a substance known as pyrobloin. Pyrobloin is also a property of sea stone, suggesting that sea stone and the island and sea clouds share a point of origin, this being the land of Wano, and now more specifically possibly due to Pluton's influence. If this is the case, while Pluton is an island destroyer, like the Death Star but for islands, it is also an island creator, having given birth to many a sky island. And this would be another example of the ancient weapon being responsible for further Grand Line shenanigans. Alongside this, as outlined by Sukiyaki in chapter 1055, the walls around Wano.
And it kind of makes me think as well, is Pluton like the material that Pluton is made of? Is it pyrobloin? But then again, Pluton was made in Water 7, right? So I don't know if it could be made of pyrobloin. That's interesting. I don't know. That's, maybe I'm just looking into it too deeply.
Country weren't always there and were erected at some point. Wano used to be bigger and at sea level, but once the walls went up and the rainwater had nowhere else to go, the country had to relocate further up the mountain. Oda goes out of his way to show us Sukiyaki doesn't know why this happened. I don't think it's too far-fetched to suggest that these walls going up were caused by the arrival of Pluton. These walls look to be pretty natural, and the way that Sukiyaki words it in the TCB scans at least almost makes it sound.
Oh, good point. That's actually a great point. The borders of Wano coming in after the arrival of Pluton. So maybe, her theory is making me believe that Pluton has some type of geological ability, right? Like maybe it's not just a ship with a bunch of huge cannons that are capable of destroying islands. Maybe it can destroy it geologically, right? Kind of like in a manner of Whitebeard, right? Like Whitebeard has the tremor fruits, and when you think of tremors or earthquakes, you think of, just land getting, shaking and getting messed up and breaking apart and all that stuff. So maybe what I'm saying is maybe Pluton has like a geological ability, or like it destroys islands geologically, or it can manipulate the geology of an island, especially, or it could like go to like the platelets in the mantle of the earth and spawn volcanoes, which could destroy an island, at least the life and everything on the island. Maybe not the actual land per se. Maybe that as well though, but it could like, go into the mantle, or it could like send maybe like seismic activities into the mantle, and which cause volcanoes to sprout out the ground and destroy all the life there. I don't know. Or it could even be even way more OP than that, So a lot of times when I'm arguing with people how Pluton destroys the red line, right? Because I've argued with people and they say, oh, well, I don't think a ship, because based off how big the red line is, right? They say, I don't think a ship can destroy the red line, even if Pluton was big, because the red line is just too big to destroy. But if Pluton was able to manipulate the geology, the geography or the geology, I'm not too sure the word to use right there. If it could mess with like the actual land, the actual landmass of the red line from like a more core level, that may be more effective than just a bunch of cannons bombarding the red line,
Sound like the walls were made by people, perhaps to protect the Pluton, but I'm not so sure about that. Unless it was done by a previous user of the Gura no Mi, which is certainly a possibility. But I think that the ascension of these walls could have been triggered by the catastrophic event that was the arrival of the Pluton itself. So how did it end up beneath Wano? Well, if Wano is more or less on the opposite side of the planet to the Water 7 Enna's Lobby region, I have a pretty outlandish proposal. And I'm even going to use an orange for this analogy because it's conveniently round, like a planet. Okay, so this is Wano, and this is the Water 7 Enna's Lobby region. For a ship to end up on the opposite side of a planet and under the water, under the land, a typical route would be for it to sail there before making its descent. However, it couldn't be more clear that the Pluton isn't most ships, and it probably does things its own way. Probably takes some shortcuts here and there. But how does one take a shortcut to the opposite side of the planet? Well, as living legend Michael Rosen once said in successful children's storybook, we're going on a bear hunt. We can't go over it. We can't go under it. We have to go through it. So after being made in Water 7 and making its rounds of terrorizing...
That was a little dangerous. She could have stabbed her hand right there. I kind of like that though. Like, like the idea that like, but is Water 7 on the exact opposite side of Wano? I don't remember hearing that. I don't remember ever seeing or hearing about how it's on the exact opposite. But let's say it is though. Let's just say it is. That would be a pretty freaking coincidental that Water 7, and the place that created, I guess it created Pluton, like. Pluton was created in Water 7 and it ended in Wano, or it ended up in Wano, which let's say they are on the exact opposite sides of the world, right? Is that a coincidence? Right? Like, I think I think it would probably make even more sense that that it went through the world instead of them selling it to Wano, right? Especially if they're on the exact opposite sides, right? It would make more sense. And it would even play more into the idea that Pluton can manipulate the geology. I want to say geology. I'm gonna look that word up. Geology. Geology. Let's look up that word because I feel as though it's geology and not geography. You know, like when you manipulate the terrain and stuff. Science that deals with Earth physical. Yeah, geology. So yeah, if it's something that can manipulate geology, I would think that it would be very capable, very easily capable of going through the world. You know what I mean? And maybe Pluton isn't even a ship in the normal sense where it sails on land. Maybe it's a ship that sails through terrain. It sails through the earth, which would be very scary. Bro, that's hey, I'm glad I reacted to the. In the sense, that would be a very not like unconventional type of ship that instead of sailing on the ocean, it sails through the actual earth, and it can destroy islands by sailing through the earth, and maybe you could spawn on some type of country or island or whatever, and spawn with a volcano. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, I'm not. hey, hey, with how things is going, I think it's very possible.
People over 800 years ago, Pluton was like, alright, I've done my bit for now. Time to return to the sea, and proceeded to use its terrifying power in a place not so far from where it was made to blow a hole, not just in the sea, but also in the crust beneath it, and travel through this pit it made all the way through the Earth's core and into the warm bedrock of an island on the very opposite side of the planet. The hole that it made on one side of the globe being the pit of Enies Lobby, and the island crust that it traveled to, of course, being the island of Wano. This would mean that one of the most famous moments in One Piece, the face-off at Enies Lobby against the CP9, Robin saying that she wants to live, Frankie burning up the blueprints of Pluton in front of their enemies. All of this occurred above a pit created by the very weapon at the center of this whole conflict. A weapon that is still deep, deep down there somewhere to this day. Furthermore, moving through the earth rather than above the surface would truly...
I mean, she's making sense here. She is making a lot of sense, and I definitely gotta give her credit. You know, the whole waterfall made by Pluton. I'm just saying, man, she's making sense. She's spitting bars right now.
be living up to the namesake of God of the Underworld.
Maybe Pluton is like a drill that will pierce the heavens.
So in this subjectively likely scenario, it's possible that these walls that went up around Wano were caused by the impact of Pluton arriving in Wano's crust from travelling through the planet's core from the opposite side of the world, what is now known as Enies Lobby. Before I add a few more thoughts, basically Water 7 is sinking and experiencing an annual Aqua Laguna as divine punishment for creating the Pluton. The Pluton itself created the massive pit in Enies Lobby and proceeded to travel through the centre of the Earth to where it now resides beneath Mount Fuji. The wall around Wano occurred due to the impact this created, and sea stones, sea and island clouds, and the stones on which the poneglyphs are carved are possibly byproducts of the Pluton's presence here.
Reminder that this is a theory and has every chance of being false. Another quick related thoughts.
The thing Big Mom was talking about when she was defeated, the part of One Piece she said was in...
Bruh. I mean, yes, it's a theory and it has a chance of being false, but it makes a lot of sense. It makes sense. Let's just get that out of the way. It does make a lot of sense. It's great. It's really a great theory. Like, I really do like this theory. I really do like this theory.
Wano was likely the Pluton, as was whatever drew Kaido to Wano under the insistence that it was special to begin with, which makes it so ironic that upon both of their defeats, they were thrown down deep beneath Wano into the crusts, potentially to where Pluton is.
On a semi-related note, I noticed that in this particular chapter, at least the TCB Scans translation, where we've always heard road poneglyph used, it was...
Hold on. She said, yeah, Kaido and Big Mom going to where Pluton potentially is. Could that mean next time we see Kaido and Big Mom, they might have Pluton? We haven't seen them in a while. We don't know their we don't know if their status. We don't know their status. You know, could they be dead? Possibly. We really haven't seen them. I'm starting to believe that they could either be dead or maybe they found Pluton and next time we see them, they could have Pluton. It's a little scary. It is a little scary.
was translated as load poneglyph. This is of course because of the sounds R and L being the same in Japanese. Misunderstandings and mistranslations can happen really easily. For example, we thought that laugh tail was a raftel for so long, because those words sound very similar with a Japanese romanization.
However, seeing it spelled as load poneglyph rather than road poneglyph made me think of Lodestar, which is said to be the actual final island on the Grand Line after Laugh Tale.
I'm not sure if anybody else has made this connection in the past, or if I'm late to the party for only just realizing this now, but looking at the One Piece wiki page for Lodestar, it becomes very clear that the names are connected.
After all, travelers who reach this island become aware of the poneglyphs, the civilization that created them, as well as the hidden final island of Laugh Tale.
Also, a lodestar is a star used by a ship to help guide it to its destination. So a lode poneglyph is a poneglyph used by people seeking out Laugh Tale to guide them to that hidden place. I feel like this piece of information should have been kind of obvious, and it probably was to some people, but not this people. I just kind of went with road poneglyph. I mean, road to Laugh Tale, innit? Stuff can be two things, but anyway. Shanks was in chapter 1055 as well, did you notice? No wonder he was able to just end Marineford like he did. My dude's Haki is literally on another level, which is relevant, because Kaido said something along the lines of it being Haki users rather than Devil Fruit users being the true MVPs of the sea. All I have to say about Green Bull is that this was very cool, if nothing else. I'm tired and I'm gonna stop talking, but you don't have to stop listening. You can stick around, you can hit the subscribe button if you want to continue being enlightened with
Hey man, hey yo! Shout out to Dawn of the World. Shout out to her. I'm also subscribed to her because I thought that was a great theory. I really like. I'm also give her a like. Make sure you guys go show Dawn of the World some love. That was a great theory. I will say that. That was a great theory. I really like that theory. I really enjoyed the theory. It really. I don't think I've ever heard somebody really put that together like that. You know, like I never heard a Pluton theory in that sense, and that makes a lot of sense. It really does, and I can see why she named it. Pluton is connected to everything. It's literally connected. Oh man, but that was a great theory. Pluton, like being created, Water 7, and let's say Wano is. Like, I never really looked at the geography of where Wano and Water 7 was in connection with each other, right? She said that they were on the opposite sides of the world. I don't know if that's true. Somebody definitely verify that for me, though. Somebody verify that for me and let me know. But if that is the case, especially with how we know Enies Lobby has got that big waterfall, maybe that's where Pluton traveled through the world to get to Wano. That makes sense. It can make that can make a lot of sense right there. It does make a lot of sense. And Pluton, especially Pluton, we know is the Pluto, based on Pluto or Hades, the god of the underworld. So if Pluton is more of an underworld type device that travels through the earth and through the terrain instead of actually being a ship that travel in the conventional way that ships travel on the actual ocean, if it travels through the earth, and let's say you want to arrive in a certain island, you travel through the earth and you come back and be like, you want to destroy this island, create a big old volcano, and it just creates earthquakes and volcanoes and all that stuff, just destroying this island. That could be how Pluton work in a sense. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think most One Piece fans, or most us One Piece fans, got this idea that when it was called a ship, that it was a traditional type of a ship where you travel, you sail on the water, you see an island you want to destroy, and you bombard it with maybe some huge cannons, right? Some huge cannons that are capable of destroying islands. At least that's how I always kind of pictured Pluton. This video actually makes me see Pluton in a whole different way, though. Maybe it's actual. It messes. It manipulates the terrain of an island, and that's how it destroys it, instead of the normal, in the bombardment type of way, which would make sense. Let's say, like, going to my initial theory that each of the ancient weapons, their creations were to pretty much unify the world, to unite the world. You have Pluton. Its purpose is to destroy the red line, right? Now, after the red line is destroyed, maybe that's when floods and stuff start occurring, and it causes a mess when we talk about the weather, right? So maybe Poseidon's job is to carry people on the Noah, right? Carry humans so they don't drown and they don't die, right? From these floods that might be created, or from the bad weather in general that might be created through the destruction of the red line. So now you got the purpose for Pluton, you got the purpose for Poseidon. Uranus, the job of Uranus may be to stabilize the weather. So, just to stabilize the weather and eventually create that equilibrium to make the world peaceful again, I guess. You know what I'm saying? So, but speaking on the job of Pluton, right? Like, one pushback that I've always gotten, that the red line is too big to destroy for like a ship. Even a huge ship with big cannons, it would still be too big to destroy. But if Pluton is capable of messing with the geology of the red line, as in like the faults and everything, the tectonic plates of the red line and all that stuff, and destroy it from within, you know what I mean? Maybe that's how it destroys it. You know what I mean? So, I'm really appreciative to this theory, because it kind of make me think of Pluton in a different way. That actually makes my theory about the purposes of the ancient weapons more viable, I guess. More viable. But great theory nonetheless. It makes sense. Some of the things she said, it makes a lot of sense. She explained it very well. And hey, shout out to Dawn of the World. Great freaking theory. But yeah, anyway, y'all, make sure you guys hit that like button. Also, subscribe. Hit that bell for notifications. Comment down below your thoughts on this theory. Your thoughts on some of the things I've said. Some of the things she said. What do you believe Pluton to be? And what is its purpose? Let me know in the comments. Also, follow me on Twitch so you could catch me live and you could engage with me in real time. Follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, and make sure you join my community, the Discord. All of these will be in the description box, as well as the link to her video, so y'all could go show Dawn of the World some love, and y'all could go subscribe to her channel and go like that video, because that was a great video. Let's just say that. Anyway, y'all, it's your boy Sean P. the Bluff Guy, and I'm out of here. Peace.